to The Collective, where every conversation ignites a new perspective. Join us as we delve into the journeys of remarkable individuals, explore the art of growth, resilience, and the power of a shared mission as we strive to be better together. Hey everybody, welcome back to The Gold Mine. We have another fantastic show for you, planned out or not planned out at all. We're going to do another one of these great little combos between Shaun and I, which I've been quite enjoying. And while I'm enjoying them, you should be too. Like the show, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, do all that good stuff, get your emails when we go live, which is of course Wednesdays for The Gold Mine and Fridays for The Collective. If you have any thoughts, questions, comments, put them up in the comment section. We will hit those throughout the show. And of course, if you are not yet still hooked up with the Reinforcement Loop, our weekly newsletter, then you are just wrong, I gotta say. At this point, 26, 27 editions in. I don't even know how many we're at this point, but
26 done.
Get into it, because
man, if you're not reading it like 20, if you're not reading edition 27, do we even know you?
I mean, really, exactly.
Honestly, who are you?
Who are you?
What kind
indeed?
of an empty shell of a person are you?
I love it. Well, let's just dive right into the conversation. Shaun, how's the mountains treating you again?
Yeah, good. As I was saying in the green room just before we came into this recorded session in the can. In fact, I just put up a photo about 60 seconds before I jumped into the green room, and you can pull it up. Long. It's on my Instagram. It's in my stories.
All right, give me 2 seconds. I'll pull it up.
It's actually quite a nice photo, I think, because there's not enough information in there for someone to see my full layout. But there's enough in there to be like, hey, what's going on there? Does he have two lights? Hey, what is that little device there on his desk? You know, that kind of a photo.
Yes.
And so all I titled it was podcasting. Like, no one knows that we're like putting this in the can right now. No one knows who I'm talking to or about or whatever. And no one will know today, probably. You know what I'm saying? Because again, this one's recorded.
Probably. Okay, there we go. I got the image.
Yeah. It's not a bad photo, right?
That's a nice photo. I like it. I would give it a critique if I could.
Yeah, give it some critique.
Okay, well, let me pull it up here so everyone else can see what I'm talking about. But
oh yeah, I suppose you can, hey? Wow.
Here we go.
You tools.
Magic right there. So podcasting, and I dig it. I like the arm in the way, and I like, but the soft focus on the road kind of throws it. Like it's got good crisp focus in the foreground, but...
Yeah, but you like my jam, as I've said, and
it
drives Pat crazy as well. Is I like to build layers in my photo. So you know, the foreground being and it's not out of focus per se. My focus is on my screen. Sorry,
the monitor,
on the monitor. But that's what is depth of field. So believe it or not, that road is in focus to some degree. It's just that depth of field, or bokeh, B-O-K-E-H, bokeh or bokeh, makes it feel like it's out of focus. And, you know, like to the letter of the law, you could consider it as out of focus, but it kind of isn't to some degree as well.
Yeah.
But that's depth of field. But anyway, let me just explain my rationale. Road is foreground. Of course, the monitors are midground, as are the two lights above the monitors. But then in the background, you can see one of the wooden doors or a closet door where we keep our jackets.
And so like your blast blanket in the corner there.
That's right. To absorb the reflective sounds, which I've got hanging up right now on my door. And so... like there's layers in that. And I know it doesn't work for everyone's eye. In fact, for some people, maybe like Pat, maybe like yourself, it'll feel cluttered because of the layers. But, you know, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, as they say.
I don't find it cluttered. My eye gravitates to details. So like the ringlets in the blanket.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's something that catches the icons on your laptop screen, and even the patches right at the base there that's actually behind the reply to Shaun Taylor's. I like the fact that those things are really crisp lines, and that's what draws my eye. Like I said, the only thing that just kind of off-puts it might even be the fact that it says podcasting next to the road, which just kind of highlights the fact that they're not quite the same. But That's my
I appreciate, like, for my mind, like, I don't want to build it all out, you know, the many layers of this photo for my mind, because like there's many layers to this photo, but I appreciate that. I know it's going to sound dumb, but the podcasting, the word podcasting, of course, is totally crisp right next to road, which is, you would think, like, you call it
not
out of
quite
focus
crisp.
and it kind of sort of is, but really what it is, due to the depth of field, it's a bit fuzzier.
Yes.
It's just, it's the wrong depth of field, which is kind of where we're at with podcasting. I mean, like, we're not crisp all the time. We're not like perfectly where we need to be. Our depth of field is just a bit, it's a bit fuzzy.
Just a bit
to some
fuzzy.
degree,
Yeah. We're much crisper than we used to be. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure, sure.
And interestingly enough, I want to talk about a little bit about podcasting, because I think when you get used to seeing somebody online for a long time, you start to create a version of them that is solely the image that's being portrayed, which is one of the reasons why you do your garbage day things. One of the reasons why I do videos of jiu-jitsu. One of the things I was playing with today, actually, I was playing with the slow motion feature on my phone.
Oh, yeah,
And I'm
nice.
trying to capture the vibration of the strings as I play my guitar.
Oh, yeah, cool.
It's really hard to get a macro shot and in
It is.
slow
It
motion
would
at the
be.
same
Yeah,
time.
of
So
course. Yeah.
I'm playing with it. I'm going to see if I can pull it off, but
Yeah,
that's a
yeah,
whole other
yeah.
bit of it. But so the reason why I want to talk about this was the fact that we have kind of personas that are now digitized. We have digitized personas.
Yeah.
And I want to talk a little bit about the background stuff, the things that we do outside of the podcast that maybe people aren't aware of, or maybe people don't realize, or have no context to grasp. So let me ask you this. In your time podcasting,
Are we complicated individuals?
whoa,
Do we have complexity?
we might
Do we
have
do more than
lives.
speak into microphones?
We might have lives beyond this whole setup. But the question I have for you is then, what are some of the things that you do that you don't think people realize, that you don't think people see with your social media and the podcasting?
Well, you know what is, people won't understand it at all, even if they see it, and they don't get to see it much, because it's hard to capture it like authentically. Because to capture what I'm about to describe to some degree requires some contriving, like inauthenticity. Like, you've got to set your camera up, you've got to like put yourself in a position where it may or may not happen, and then if it does happen and you record it, it can feel like a bit fake. But I find it happens more authentically when I'm traveling. So I'll be overseas in November and December, and I'll bump into people and I'll be like, hey, how you doing? And that'll spark off a conversation that takes us in all kinds of directions. And I may end up eating at their place that night. Or you know, I might be driving their scooter. Or we might be playing basketball in their backyard, whatever. Something happens. And whatever that thing that happens is, it's usually due to me looking someone in the eye and like creating a little connection instantly, which we all can do. But that's hard to capture in a video. That's hard to demonstrate how easily it can be done if you can feel and play the moment right. And like, I do that a lot. And I'm not saying I do it super well, but I just do it a lot, especially when I'm traveling. But here in our sidewalk in downtown Roslyn, like, you know, I did it yesterday. I was rolling into town to drop off some coffee at the bike shop. Halfway to the bike shop, I'm on the sidewalk. Someone stops me. I'm talking with them for 20 minutes on the sidewalk. And none of that was planned. And it was just, hey, how you doing? Bam, and we're into it. And so, you know, like, that's hard to explain. That's hard to show. That's, a lot of people don't know that side of me where I can just quickly make a connection, and we're almost old friends instantly.
I get a giggle out of this because that happens to me all the time as well. My wife bugs me on a regular basis in the fact that I will regularly strike up a conversation with anybody. I'll see somebody with like a veteran license plate, and I'll walk over to him and be like, hey man, thanks for your service, appreciate you being here. And that will start up a 30, 40, 50-minute conversation. Or I'll randomly see somebody on the street with a Army t-shirt or something, will usually spark my mind, and I'll be like, "What's up, man? How's it going?"
Mm.
And that will engage in that, to the point now that my wife knows that when I start talking to somebody, she kind of like looks at her watch and is like, "Yeah, I'll be back in 30 minutes," and then
Yeah,
disappears.
yeah.
So
But there's nothing wrong with that.
no, nothing wrong with it.
If there's time to let it happen, and if you enjoy it, and if the other person's enjoying it, but how, like, that is not something that is easy to capture on the interwebs. I did do it. Let's see, it would have been, so first time I kind of did it on the internet is when we were in Malaysia. And we just landed in Malaysia and gone straight to a place called Penang, the region. And we were in a UNESCO historic town called Georgetown. And it just happened to be that week that we were there was the Diwali festival. It was bonkers. All the fireworks, all the noise, all the dancing, all of it. And so there was a super late night, and all the fireworks. Get up the next day to have breakfast. I'm a bit like, oh man, that wasn't a great sleep. So I sit down and I end up talking with the guy. He's a taxi driver. And I've forgotten his name, which is terrible, but he was a good guy, and he's about my age. Anyway, we sat down, and I put my phone down at the table, and the breakfast was just like on those old school metal trays that you just dollop your stuff in, and whatever, we're into it. And so, like I said, let me buy you breakfast. So I bought him breakfast, and we hung out for about 30 minutes just talking. And my phone was pointing towards the two of us, so you could see both of us having a conversation.
Yes, okay. I remember what that
It went on
happened,
for a
yeah.
while. Okay, good man. So it went on for a while, and like, I wasn't trying to make any points. I wasn't trying to like take the conversation in a direction to illustrate something to the internet. It's just two dudes talking halfway around the world, and I can do that with anyone for sure. But I don't think it's compelling viewing. Like, I don't think anyone's going to sit down and watch half an hour of that. And quite frankly, I think maybe it just doesn't serve anyone well in today's modern internet where, that's more of a documentary rather than a TikTok blast. And so people nowadays are looking for the 3-second clip, not the 30-second clip, or the 3-minute clip, or the 30-minute clip.
I'm going to push back on this a little bit, because I don't think it's the TikTok. I don't think it's the society. I don't think it's anything like that, but it's a personal moment, right? Like you sitting down and having a conversation with somebody on the side of the road. I went for a coffee at a local coffee shop here, and got a very nice pour over.
Nice.
And her and I started talking about coffee, but it's a personal moment. It's not really, it's not compelling, but I think if you were to walk by someone on the street and they were having a personal moment conversation with somebody, you wouldn't stop and go, oh, and then hang out and listen to their conversation, because it's a personal thing. So I think it's similar in terms of watching the video of it. It seems like a personal moment that you don't want to intrude on, rather than being
but there is a
caught up
difference
by
there.
it.
I get it. So there is a bit of a difference there, and I appreciate what you're saying. However, if there's a couple of people on the sidewalk having their kind of not private moment, but like a quiet conversation, and you step up in their grill like, hey, what's up? What are you talking about? How can I get involved? Yeah, that's super uncool. But when you're sitting down with someone, like if you're in that coffee shop with that person and you start into a conversation and it's interesting, you say, hey, do you mind? I wouldn't mind capturing this for, everyone, because I think everyone would love to hear how much you know about coffee, whatever. And so you slap your phone down. Now you're recording. Now there's like, whether it's approved or not, and by approved I mean like signing off on a piece of paper, or whether it's just complicit, like someone looks at the phone and nods, and now they recognize the conversation that you've been having up till that point is now recorded and may go online. Like, that person has an opportunity to like buy in or not. Like, okay, I'm out of here. This is nonsense, or I'm good with that. So that's a different thing than just walking up on someone on the sidewalk, kind of almost like an ambush,
Yes, and that's not quite what I'm referring to.
I know. I know.
I think because it happens often, like as a photographer, you'll see this often where photographers will like stop and they'll watch a scene kind of
Dude, I
unfold.
do it all the time.
Yeah,
I know.
exactly. That's what I was going to point out. If you have the eye to notice those moments to go, oh, okay, cool. But if I was at a coffee shop and a person next to me started talking with another person next to me and I wasn't really involved and I'm not really eavesdropping, but it's just happening beside me, it would become I would feel, I guess, that it's a bit of an invasion to sit there and be like, and like kind of listen in. So I that's why I think, especially on video, even if you were to do that, even without some sort of production or setup or questioning involved, it becomes a personal moment. Because there's a great show my wife and I like to watch that I don't think they do it anymore, but it was Jerry Seinfeld, Comedians in Cars or whatever it was.
Yeah, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked it.
It was fun.
Yeah.
But he had it was a directed questioning, right?
sure.
He would ask them
for sure.
specific questions versus just sitting down and have a conversation over coffee.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think if there's, without the little bit of production, without a little bit of it, it feels like it's a bit of an invasion.
So now there's a couple of different ways to play it. And, you know, like obviously I've done this quite a bit overseas and traveling on vacations. And so let's see, where did it last happen? Thailand at the end of last year. I had a number of favorite coffee shops. One of them that comes to mind is Tiger Ted's Cafe. And I think I might have said this to you, like Tiger Ted still like drops me a line every once in a while saying, I still remember, you know, how inspiring you were when you came into the coffee shop. Thank you for re-engaging my passion in coffee and etc. And so like sometimes in Tiger Ted's place, I would walk in and I'd just take my phone, plant it down, hit record, look at everyone, nod at everyone, and then do whatever I was going to do. And if someone came over and said, hey, where are you from? Or, hey, you know, oh, that's a nice camera. Or, hey, what are you doing? Or, do you come here often? Or, why you record it? Whatever they ask, I can turn it into a conversation. And they'll know that they're in a conversation because they came over watching me hit record. They know what's up. And so that's one way that I might do it. And I've had many a conversation that I put up on the Instawebs where someone has come over and kind of leaned on the coffee bar and said, hey, where are you from? Hey, I like your hat. Hey, where'd that t-shirt? Whatever. So I'll look at the camera and say, hey, well, I'm from Canada. And they know that they know. So that's signed off. And so another way to do it, of course, is if that table is sitting next to you and they're talking and you don't want to like be leaning over and eavesdropping, pretending that you're not eavesdropping. In those circumstances, nearly every single time I'll play it the same way. I'll catch the person's eye and I'll just give them one of those and I'll see where it goes from there. And invariably, like 99% of the time, when I catch their eye and give them a little nod, I know we're going to have a conversation. It's invariable. And so the conversation will be as long and go in whatever direction we decide, but there'll be a conversation from that point moving forward. It's whether I catch their eye or not. And if I don't want to catch their eye, it's because I don't want to have the conversation. And if they don't catch my eye, they don't want to have the conversation. But invariably, like 99% of the time, if I catch their eye and they engage, we're having a conversation.
So you bring up an interesting point on this, and I want to get your little bit of back and forth on this one, is the fact that I think the key to this is interaction and conversation. Is that the basis of these things is, especially since I've started podcasting, I know my ability to have a conversation with people has expanded manyfold, right? I can talk to pretty much anybody at any time about pretty much anything.
Yeah.
At least I feel that way. And through that, I've had some really neat conversations out on the street, that's just out in the world, because I'm looking for it. Not so much, I'm not like hunting for it. I'm not looking around pointing at people, but any opportunity to flesh out a conversation, I'm all in on it. I'm just there when I have the time. And I think in a similar regards, you and I are like this, and that we just were seeking that interaction, that level of conversation to bolster some sort of community, some sort of connection, collection of ideas, rather than
Well, yes and no.
yes and no. Okay.
Yeah. So, yes, I agree. And yeah, you're right. However, there's times when I don't want anyone to talk to me at all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at all.
Absolutely.
Not for like sometimes a couple of days. I don't want to hear it. Just leave me alone for a couple of days. Y'all.
Silence.
Yeah, just be quiet, please. Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate the lack of white noise. And so sometimes I'm just not into it. And then what do you do with that? Like, if you're just not into the conversation, if you're just not into the interaction, if you're just not into, being part of the part of humanity that day, sometimes I just don't want to be part of it. I want to think my own thoughts. I want to read what I want to read. I want to be where I want to be. And I don't want to be with other people that don't want to be in the space that I'm at that time, in my mind, in my body, in my spirit, in my whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I just want to be left alone. And that ain't a bad thing. I'm not saying, like, I'm not coming at that from, I'm going to hide in a cave because I'm scared of the world. I'm saying sometimes I just want some peace and quiet. And so, yeah, I do seek interaction. I love a good conversation. I am always fascinated with something that is intellectually stimulating. But there are times when I just want to say, hey, shut up, all of you, for a while.
Sum up. Let's go.
But that's not bad. It's not a bad thing.
I think needs to be done every once in a while. But also, on the flip side of this, as you know, sometimes you need to engage even when you're in those moments. Mm-hmm. Right? And that's
Sure.
I think this is where a tricky line comes in.
I'm not like shooting my finger at the internet and saying, shut up, y'all. You're never allowed to talk until I action it.
You need 4 days.
Like if someone wants to keep talking, I'm just bouncing. And then I'll see you in a couple of days, or I'll see you in 24 hours, or I'll hit you with an LOL 16 hours from now or whatever. And then we'll pick it up where we left it off. But if I'm not like up in someone's grill ASAP when they're bouncing something off me, I'm either busy or I just don't freaking want to talk to anyone at that time.
So I have this is a side thought, a bit of a tangent at this point in time, because you've said it on the podcast. I don't think I've said it yet, but I'm going to say it now. I don't need your memes. I don't need your videos. Yeah. I got lots of stuff, but at the same time, sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're interesting, sometimes they're thought provoking, but for the most part, a lot of it is just inane, and it really doesn't help anything. But the piece of this that I want to touch on that clicked in my mind is the fact that somebody watched said video. They were on Instagram, they saw this reel, and they thought of you, or they thought of me, and they're like, you know what? This person would probably like to see this.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to dive in on that thought pattern right there, that little bit of, you know who would really appreciate this? Shaun, and then I can send it off to you. And there's sometimes where I'll send you some inane memes that are just kind of funny, because I know you'll take...
I mean, not very often.
Not very often, but every so often. It's just fun. Yeah. But when you start to get more and more into the social media realm, you start to get those more often. It starts to become very consistent, where a lot of the responses that I give to people now are just like...
Yeah, well, it's like you have to almost, not teach, that's the wrong word, but you almost have to educate everyone, and I mean everyone, as to how much you're willing to accept in the way of time suck or time waste or inane stuff. And so I've said it many a time, I'm just not interested in the memes of a cat playing with a ball of wool. I'm just not. And so that's what most memes represent to me. However, anyone who has paid attention to kind of my rhythm, my pattern, who I am and how I think and what I say and what I appreciate and what I don't, they found a rhythm for that interaction of the meme interaction. And so a guy dropped one on me this morning, and he's a really good guy. And he's been following me, I don't know, maybe a year or so. And And so he just sent me, it was about a 3-second clip of three guys on a bus all looking at each other like, huh? What's with this old dude? And it was the scene from Mr. Nobody, or when he's on the
Yeah.
he gets back on the bus and he looks at the Russian gangsters and like, yeah, well, it ain't over yet. And so this guy sent this to me and he said, hey, I saw this and I thought exactly of you. And so it's probably because like it's Thursday, garbage day. Every once in a while, someone calls me, Mr. Nobody, because like I'm a nobody, except I do have an occasional skill or two. And so, the parallels are, I won't say they're direct, but there's some similarity to the parallels. And so he, for whatever reason, whether it's garbage day or he just saw a random meme of those dudes on the bus about to get their arse kicked, he just thought of me and sent it to me. And, the conversation didn't go very far. We had a couple of laughs and then that was it. But it is true. People do think of you or I'll think of them, or I'll think of you, or everyone's thinking of everyone from time to time, and it's an association with something. Like for him, it was, I wouldn't mind having a bus full of gangsters that I get to fight. That'd be awesome. And so, what we represent to some degree as an avatar, as a social media thing, has a direct attachment to some of these little Hollywood moments almost, It's weird.
Yeah.
It's fun, but
It is fun. And I think the thing that kind of tweaks my brain a little bit, it makes my brain itch a little bit, is the fact that a lot of times those things are sent without any real context or understanding. Like for that one, Mr. Nobody, it's pretty obvious to make the correlation between you
he
and
does
that,
have
right?
some good context,
Right?
yeah.
Like that makes sense. But for some of them,
And he's got a keen eye, so so
the right
there-
person with the right
right,
stuff. Yeah.
that's right. And so there is another layer to it, of course, as you know, that if someone sends me a meme and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty good, I get it. But if it comes from someone who gets a lot of things and then sends you a thing that, oh, I get it, like it's double good, because the person's in the game and they have granularity, as it were.
Yes. A little bit of context to it. But yeah, there's some that I get that are just out to lunch. I'm not sure why they're sending them to me, and at some point I just kind of stopped looking because I can't. I just don't have the time. I got other stuff I got to do, and unfortunately, as bad as it is, if it was a one-on-one conversation and it was like, "Hey man, I got this thing. I want to show you to you," and like give me a little bit of context to it, but a lot of these things are just kind of random, odd clips, especially nowadays too, because there's a lot of rage bait, a lot of
sure.
clickbait, a lot of stuff
Yeah,
just
for
to
sure.
make you upset, and then what do you do with that? And you just kind of throw
Yeah,
it out. But-
agreed.
and then when you spread it around, oh man, that drives me nuts. Like,
Yeah, it's not my jam. I don't repost those. Like, if a meme comes in, I'm not like reposting a meme.
no,
I will say this on an interesting sort of correlation, or an extension of the logic chain. The same individual who shot me the DM this morning about the bus scrap, just not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, actually a bit longer than that, a group started up, a private Instagram group, and invite only kind of thing. And it was started with the best of intentions, kind of like a buddy check sort of group. And that, that's just not my jam. But I thought, I don't know most of these people, but I'll hop in. I'll see what it's all about. Let's see if we're going to spread the cheer, or how does it work? And, I'm going to put my eye on this and feel it out. And I mean, right from the get-go, it was people that, like they'll see a meme and it'll make them feel good. Somehow, I don't know like how it makes them feel good, but it makes them feel good. And then maybe they think, I feel good. Everyone's going to feel good watching this. But I watch those memes and I'm like, what is even going on? And so like 10, 15 of these, and I just thought to myself, I got to bounce. They're a group of nice people. And I think that if it wasn't for the memes, if we could like talk about something substantial, or if the conversation was like personal rather than it's kind of like co-opted by by non-meaningful memes. And so then the conversation is just like memesville,
Yeah.
but there's no conversation. And so I don't know. I think I lasted 2 days and I just extracted myself from the group, and I can't go back because I can't. It's just not. It's not my form of communication.
No, it's not really any form of communication. This is so I just wrote down correlation, and I think that's really the only thing that holds these things together is that there is a general correlation between an idea. So I mean, similarly, when
Well, it's with good intent.
with good intention, absolutely. When I started the round table groups, and I was doing the round tables before the collective and all that stuff, I gathered everybody in, and I kept adding new people to it every time we added someone in, and the same thing happened. Eventually, it just turned into
I was
meme
part of
drops, and you were part of it, and you didn't. And like you and I were both sitting there going, like, what is going on? To like, it started off really well, and
that was
people
my
were
first.
talking, and it just dissipated from there.
I almost never like. We're lucky. Well, maybe we're not lucky, but like I shouldn't be sitting here based on that first podcast that I sat in. I was like, what is even going on right now?
Yeah.
Where am I? What is happening?
What is even happening?
Yeah.
But the correlation, the thing that I at least clip from this is the fact that we have a general correlation to other things in other people's minds.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they correlate that particular video or that particular meme or whatever it is, and they send it to you, in their head, they're like, Sean's going to dig this. Oh, yeah, totally. Right?
Totally, Sean.
And then you're going to get it with no context whatsoever and just go,
True.
what the heck just happened? Because
But,
you don't have the correlation. So,
But the important part, I think, most important part is that though memes aren't my jam, I appreciate that the person is like, they're thoughtful enough to send it to me. Like, if they're being thoughtful. If a person has a pattern of like no thought and just blasting memes at me, like I'll give them 3 strikes and you're out. Like first time I'll say, hey, listen, man, while you might appreciate these, I just don't have time for them. I'm kind of busy, and I use my Instagram account to accomplish things, not to like goof off. And so please don't send me any more cat memes. And then second time around, like I'll come in a bit stronger. Third time I'll be like, hey man, I asked you a couple of times. This time, like I'm gonna have to block you or ban you, or you choose, but it's got to change. And so like I have to sometimes be a bit strong with people. And it's not that I want to be. It's just that I do not have time to be inundated with a tsunami of nonsense.
well, I think this is part of the problem is that one person doesn't think they're part of the nonsense, right? One person thinks that I'm thinking of Sean. I'm trying to help out. I want to,
It's
create
great.
this conversation,
Yeah, I
all
know.
that stuff. But I don't think
But I don't communicate that way.
no, and it's not
But a lot
that
of people do.
true.
And so it's not I was going to say it's not their fault. The individual who's trying to communicate, it's not on them per se. It's on me mostly to help them understand that though they might commonly communicate with a lot of their friends through memes, I don't communicate through memes. I communicate through words. And so, like I've got to figure out ways to say that a bunch of different ways every single time. And with each person, it's almost like a unique conversation where I have
As it
to break
should
them
be.
out of their common meme communication.
But I think you might even be thinking about this too deep. I think you need to back up to even a more superficial level, is because this same thing happens with handicap spots. This drives me nuts. I see people parking handicap spots that don't have tags.
Yeah, we've talked about it. Yeah, for sure.
Just I'll just be a minute. And it's like,
Yeah, no.
no,
Of course.
no. But they think it's just them, right? There's no thought beyond their own immediate need or immediate decision.
For sure.
So when someone sends you or I a meme or a cat video or whatever it is, they don't see themselves as part of a larger problem. They only see it as a one time, hey man, I'm sending you this thing. Like, what's your issue? And then that's where the conversation has to come in and be like, I'm not in with. I'm not down.
Though you've set up a common pillar of what the commonality between the two, for sure. But the massive difference is the goofball who parks in the handicap park and run into the garage. Just 2 minutes. They're doing it because they're mean spirited, because they're dicks.
I don't know about that.
No, they are straight
Okay.
up.
Okay.
No ifs, ands, or buts. Everyone knows that if you're doing that, you're doing wrong. And I'll tell anyone that. However, when someone sends you a meme, they're not doing it to be mean-spirited. They don't think that they're being mean-spirited. They don't know they're a dick. But when you slide up in that handicap spot and you walk out of your door and you, if you step 2 feet away from your car and you know you're a dick. You do.
I think
You can lie to yourself all you want, but you're just lying. You're having a lieful communication with yourself, trying to convince yourself that you're not a dick, but you know you're a dick.
Yeah. Well, okay, I'll give you that, because there is there's a little bit of reinforcement in their own minds of having to create I'll just be a minute. Like they know they're already wrong. So that makes sense. Yeah.
By they could have had a million layers of obfuscation.
Yeah.
But they know underneath that, like layer 1,000,001, right at the bottom is I'm a dick.
Under all the covers, they're still a dick.
Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're right. It's true. There's the moment you try to excuse the behavior, you already know that the behavior's wrong.
You know it.
If you don't try to excuse the behavior, then I can see where you don't really think that you're wrong.
That's right. And that's what we're talking about with the memes situation.
Yeah, exactly. That makes sense. And I think to further down this road, what are some of the things, I want to get people thinking on this one. What are some of the things that you're making excuses for? What are some of the things in our lives that we go, well, it's just one, like the little rationalizations and the little things. Those are the items you need to start digging into in your own life and go like, why am I rationalizing this? Because I know it's wrong, but the rationale tells me that it's okay for me, but not for anybody else.
But I think,
so it's an interesting question.
Don't you, because I do, don't you throughout the day have to like make a number of compromises?
Yeah.
Like it's called, you have to prioritize. And so some things can't be done above other things because they're not as high a priority. And so when something's got to get done at a high priority, everything else gets put to the side. That's called prioritization. And so throughout the day, you're having to make compromises with yourself. I'm going to do this, but I can't do that. Oh, I've got to do that, but I'll try to get to this. And so like your day is a negotiation with yourself on your timelines, on your milestones, on your priorities, on your non-negotiables, all of the things. But throughout the day, constantly we're compromising. And it is, I mean, you can be all in on something, but you had to compromise something else to be all in on that thing. I mean, we've talked about it recently, of course. But I think where it does go a bit wrong is when someone is, negotiating with themselves and making that compromise. Once they've made the decision to, I don't know, I'm not going to send any more memes to any of my friends ever again. If you say that to yourself, stick to it. And then if you're starting to compromise on that deal with yourself, ask yourself why, as you've said. Why? And again, it's prioritization.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, the moment you say, I'm not going to send memes to anybody, you're going to see the greatest meme ever. And it's going to remind you of all the people that you want to send it to. And it's in those moments of, well, just this one. This was the perfect one. I got to say. And it's those, I think it's the preemptive rationalizations that click in my head, because this happens to me on a regular basis. My brain will immediately try to give me all the rationalizations as to why I should do the things I know I shouldn't. Right? And well, it's just today, or no, it's okay. Yeah. Like you've worked hard, but it's pre rather than post.
Yeah.
And post, like we had the conversation a little while ago, is grace.
Slack and grace, yeah.
Versus slack. And that slack ahead of time, no go. Not letting that play down. So
I don't think, honestly, that I send memes to friends. like that, like, you know, just up in their DMs. I don't, uh, if I do, it's so infrequent, I don't think of myself as a meme sender. What I will do from time to time, and I mean like, I don't know, once a week or maybe a couple times a week, I'll throw something that I find to be like almost unusual for me to have up in my stories. It'll be a clip or whatever that, for whatever reason, maybe it's a guy who's trying to eat 50 boiled eggs in 60 seconds. I don't know what it'll be, but it'll just be something that I feel like, I think everyone will appreciate this for whatever reason. And so I'll throw it up in my stories, but that's about it. I don't kind of pass those things around my friends in their DMs.
I think maybe because I do every once in a while certain things.
I'm not saying no one. I'm not saying
It's
everyone
not
has to
that.
change their weight.
No, no, no.
You know, I'm not saying.
Yeah, yeah. And I just
right.
what I'm getting at is why are you doing it? Why are you sending the memes out? What is it like within yourself? What are you getting out of me sending memes to other people? For me, when I send them to other people, I send them things that I know they will think about. Like it's to create thought. It's not, hey, watch this video and laugh for 10 seconds. It's like, I found this really interesting. I think you specifically would either dig it or it'll create some thought for you.
But do you add all of that verbiage when you send the meme?
I do. Well,
Okay,
it's
that's
not
good.
always. Because like when I send you stuff, right? I sent you that mountain biking one, and I was like,
Yeah.
man, this was super cool. I thought of you when I watched it. How's it feel for you? And then you were like, oh yeah, man, I could feel those turns, and I was like, I found myself, and it starts a conversation, right?
For sure.
Versus me just randomly sending stuff out without any predisposed thought to it.
So that's where it breaks for me.
Yeah.
And that's probably the biggest downside to receiving memes for me. And it's not just in my DMs with memes. It also plays out into the grander or the more broadly viewed Instagram world, and that is within posts or within reels. And I see it a fair bit. I used to do it myself because I didn't understand how people how Instagram or social media can work for people. Like I'd just throw up a photo with like almost no verbiage and I'd just move about my day. And like it's not very helpful. What nowadays when I see someone who puts up a photo with nothing, like it's just a photo, even if the photo is impressive or it isn't, doesn't matter. Like I give it almost zero consideration if it's just a photo, because the individual didn't take the time to explain to me why the photo is important to them, why it's relevant to them today. Why is it in my face? Why am I looking at this? What is the not what is the purpose, but what made you engage in this social media content that you put out? Help me understand why I'm looking at this. And so I do see a lot of people that I follow will just put up a photo and no context. It's just a photo. And for them, they know what it means. It evokes a feeling in them. It evokes a memory in them. It has a meaningful descriptor to them, but they fail to put it in there. And so if that's the case, oftentimes I have zero engagement with it.
That makes sense. The biggest challenge, I think, for most is to separate their own thoughts from the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And that is it's a struggle, but it's useful once you can do it. Once you can realize that like you are your own brain and your own thing and nobody else thinks like you, and like
you're a big boy, use your words.
Exactly. And that ability to use your words comes from practice. Right? Like
Yeah,
it is
does, for sure.
You have to be able to sit down and have conversations with people. If all you do is communicate with memes or through texting or through the digital media, there's nothing tangible. Mm-hmm. Unless you can use your vocabulary and develop your oration skills.
Yeah, and you
Like
don't
that
have
comes
to
with
you
time.
don't have to be William Shakespeare, but you do have to be able to pass along enough meaning that people can pick up what you're putting down. Now, there's a guy that I follow, and he's putting up like he's been following me for quite a while, and my observation of his pattern is this: like he wants to be part of something. He's proud of the things that he's done. He doesn't know how to explain those two things, and so he just puts up nonstop photos that everyone's supposed to guess as to what they mean to him,
Mm.
what they mean to us,
Mm.
what they mean to everyone. What what are you trying to be part of? What are you proud of? What are you? And so because the failure to use words um, basically compromises the imagery to a degree where like it's a bit of a disconnect. In fact, it's at a point where it's not that I think, no, not another one, or it's not that I'm resentful of having to look at another non-descriptor photo,
Mm-hmm.
but I see the pattern. I saw the pattern a long time ago, and now all I can see forever is this individual isn't going to change their way. They're going to try to be part of, they're going to try to be proud of, they're going to try to explain, but they're not doing it well at all until
Mm.
someone explains to them that this is what I'm looking for from you, within you. But, you know.
Well, so you said no, you don't have to be Shakespeare, and that's true. You don't have to be Shakespeare, but Shakespeare was just a guy,
I
and
agree.
his capacity to elicit emotion through words was a skill set. It was built upon. He didn't wake up one morning and write Othello. Like it doesn't just come out of nowhere. That's hours and days and months of work of crafting that particular prose, especially the way he wrote things, was done in a certain way, and that level of writing skill, be able to pass on that information is very high. But here's the other part of it: is you need to have good actors to play it right, right? Because you probably remember this from high school. I know I do. We had to read it was Othello, I think, in high school for us. Some people it's Hamlet, other people it's Romeo and Juliet. But
Yeah.
when you first learn how to read Shakespeare, it doesn't really make sense.
I loved it though.
I dug it.
Yeah.
I still have my full, like it's this thing,
Oh, thanks.
the whole thing of Shakespeare's works, and I really liked the prose. I liked the way it worked. But I watched as people just like it. They could not compute. It didn't make sense. Why are there
Agreed.
commas here? What are the lines? How does this work?
Yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera. That takes skill. It takes practice. It takes a development of. You have to try to find the meaning in the words.
Yeah, or not.
Or
That's
not.
what's happening.
That is what's happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
No one's finding the meaning in the words. They're just throwing the words at people.
Yeah. Or just not at all. Just no words.
Or no words. Yeah.
So
Well, I
why
mean,
is
so-
that?
Why is that? I would say it is easier.
Well, it is easier, for sure, but it's easily disappointing
Oh yeah.
to the individual
Yeah.
who probably recognizes that they're not getting any engagement because no one's engaging. So
But they're not willing to do the work to shift
now,
that, to
so
change
that's
that.
my question.
Yeah.
Is it because it's easy, or is it because they are unaware?
Oh, it's because it's easy. They're aware. 100%.
Maybe. I don't know.
I think anything you put up digitally,
So myself, as an example, I could be a rare bird, but I do believe that that is not the case. I believe that this is the way for most people when they start on social media. You just don't know anything.
yeah.
You don't know any rules. You don't know any win conditions. You don't know any chaos theory. You don't know anything.
For
Nothing.
sure. Yep.
And so you're still trying to figure out what's left and right. And so, like when I first started off, I did it all wrong, all the
So
time.
did I. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so it's because I just didn't know any better. And by the way, the reason that I'm raising this point is, and I'm not completely disagreeing with you, and I'm not pushing back because you're so wrong and I'm so right. What I am suggesting is this, and I do believe it to be true, that for a guy like me, when I'm on the internet for the first time, first week, month, year, whatever, like there'll be people who look at me and think, well, the way he's doing it, it's probably because that's the way to do it, because that guy probably is squared away and he's not going to screw it up.
For sure.
That was so not the case.
Definitely not.
Do you know what I needed at the start was a bunch of people to hit me up and say, dude, you might be squared away on a heavy bag, but you suck at social media. Here's some ground rules. No one hit me with ground rules. No one jacked me up. No one told me that I was doing it wrong. And I think it's because a lot of people assumed that I would just know how to do it. But I surely didn't know how to do it. And so now I look at people and I think, does he or she actually know that they're totally botching this? Because I didn't when I first started.
But you did. So, and
yeah, but I just didn't know how to solve it.
You didn't know how to solve it. That's the key.
So I tried a bunch of different things,
Yes.
but then that doesn't like negotiate away the idea that I didn't know. A lot of people don't know. Now, the difference between them and me, maybe, is the fact that I didn't know, but I have an insanely velociraptor curiosity when it comes to velocitizing change. And so I knew I was doing it wrong, and I didn't know how to do it right. But I will dial it up to an 11 until I figure it out. But
Yes.
I would have appreciated someone throwing me a bone at the start.
I would have as well. I would have as well. It would have been really nice to have somebody kind of take me under their wing and say, okay, social media works this way. But this is the difference that I think we'll use this and then I got to wrap it up. But the difference being, you knew you weren't doing it right. You didn't know how to fix it. So you started trying stuff.
Of course.
Right? That's how you work. I do it in a similar way, not to the level that you do it by any means. And, but when I see something isn't working, I go, okay, well now I got to go look it up. I got to go do some research. I got to go figure out why it's not working.
Right.
For the most part, what I see on social media is people see it not working and they go, well, I'm just going to try harder.
Right.
And just like they double down on it and they try to hammer more and hammer more. And
inevitably quit.
And then inevitably quit. Exactly. Because there's no evolution. There's no development. There's no seeking out the rest of it. And I think that is the key, especially social media wise.
Scribbledy-doo down that as maybe a topic we got to hit in the future.
Ooh.
I know that we talked about maybe doing an episode on podcasting, but you know, the grander, like a 2 layers back from that is probably social media as a whole, and how it's done well and how it's done wrong, and what the learning curve looks like, the evolution of a person, and etc.
I like it. All right. Well, that's all I got for today. And I know we're running short of time, but I got to let you run. So
right on.
As we all continue to learn, build, and grow, especially with social media. See you all next week.
Chimo.
Thanks everybody for watching and being part of the collective. If this has sparked any thoughts or resonated with you, let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us grow and keeps the conversation going. We'll see you all next time.